Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan Gazaway, your mental performance coach. Today I'm going to talk about consistency. One of my good friends, Mark Walker, has talked to many of entrepreneurs throughout his life. We used to share the stage together at a company, and we would often talk about consistency. But one of the things that he said that I absolutely loved and has stuck with me over time and time again is something that I'm teaching over and over again and teaching today, and that is this: consistent effort over time will always give you the results that you're looking for. Again, that has stuck with me, and it takes consistency in whatever you're pursuing to become great at anything. So if you're going to the gym, do you just go to the gym once? We all know that is not accurate. If you're looking to stay healthy, are you going to eat healthy for a week and not ever do that again? No, these are lifelong pursuits that take consistency to get the long-term benefits and rewards that you're looking for in your life. So I love talking about consistency, and I have a couple of stories that I'd love to share with you. One of them is about a friend of mine. His name is Jim Brogan. I met him 15 years ago at the National Pitching Association. This is Tom House's organization. And for those of you that don't know Tom House, by the way, he's known as the father of all mechanics. I was actually visiting there with other coaches around the world getting certified to be a pitching coach. One of his guest speakers was the good Jim Brogan, who was actually in the NBA for quite some time, I think 3 to 5 years, and he played against Michael Jordan. It was during that era. But anyway, one of the things that Jim shared also stuck with me. He talked about consistency and his resilience over time. He talked about waking up in the morning from his 7th grade year and shooting 500 shots every single morning. And then after school, if he didn't have practice, basketball practice, he would then go to shoot 500 more. And he did this for years and years, all the way until his last day in the NBA. So I want you to think about that. That is 1,000 shots a day, 6,000 shots a week, 24,000 shots a month, and whatever 1,000 times 52 weeks is every day for, that is a lot of consistency over time. And I love what Jim Brogan said. He said, I was resilient even when I was sick. I made sure I got up and made those 500 shots in the morning. And if I had practice, I'd go to practice. After practice, I'd shoot 500 more. And I never stopped doing that. And I started to think, what is it that I could be more consistent with after hearing such a great story like that Jim Brogan? And I also remember growing up, maybe I was 12 years old, I studied pitching from a very young age. I wanted to play in the major leagues. That was my dream at the time. And I was studying Nolan Ryan. And I had Nolan Ryan's Pitcher's Bible. And I don't know if you guys recall this. This is an old book, but you can scroll through the book because we didn't have YouTube or anything that day. And on the top right-hand corner, you could see his whole throwing motion. As you flip through the pages, you could see his mechanics. And I remember thinking, I want to be like Nolan Ryan. I'm going to copy his mechanics and be a great pitcher that way. But anyway, long story short, I remember reading about Nolan Ryan and his consistent effort over time that allowed him to be great and the Hall of Fame pitcher that he is today. And many of his records will never be broken. I guarantee you the strikeout record will not be, because pitching is different. And also he's the king, right? But I remember reading in that book about his workouts. It didn't matter if his plane left at 5 a.m. He would always work out in the morning. So sometimes he'd get up at 3 a.m. and he'd work out. Sometimes 4 a.m. and work out. When he wasn't traveling, he'd get up at 5:30, 5 in the morning and work out, and he was consistent. That also stuck with me. Now, At the end of every pitching lesson too, after I show my pitchers a knee drill, not the end of every pitching lesson, but when I show them this knee drill, I talk about consistency, and we do math together. I always ask my students when I show them this drill, are you good at math? Because we're going to talk about your consistency with this drill, and I promise you, if you're consistent, you're going to throw thousands more curveballs or thousands more changeups than anybody else. And who's going to get the ball when the championship game is going or the game is on the line? You're going to get those opportunities because you've put in the reps and you're very resilient and you're very consistent, much like Nolan Ryan and Jim Brogan. So what I do after I show them the knee drill, by the way, you can throw hundreds of pitches, over 100 pitches a day on your knees, the way that I show them how to do it. But I just say, let's just start with 30 a day. When you're good at the knee drill, you can do 30 repetitions every day in 5 minutes. And these are good reps. So you can do that with your changeup. You can do that with your curveball. So at the end of the day, you're going to throw for 10 minutes, but then you'll have 60 repetitions in those 10 minutes of hyper-focused effort, whether it be the changeup or whether it be the curveball. So we take the number 30 and multiply it by 5. That's 150 reps per week. And then we multiply that towards the month. That's 600 reps, right? 600 reps a month. I got to check my math. And I think it's 7,800 extra reps per year if you're doing this 5 days a week. Now, we also do the math for 6 for those of them that want to go the extra mile. And we also multiply that by 5 years. And I think it's 37,000 extra repetitions on a changeup and extra repetitions on a curveball. Again, who is going to dominate on the mound and who is going to get good at that release point? Those that get the repetitions in, those that are very consistent. We would rather have you do small things every single day instead of practicing 5 hours one day and then nothing the rest of the week because you're burned out. But that daily effort is incredible. It stacks, and you become much better at what you do. The last thing I wanted to share is this. What would your life look like if instead of sleeping in an extra hour a day, if you woke up an hour earlier and you exercised for 30 minutes and studied something of value for 30 minutes and you did that for 5 years? What would your life be like? So my invitation is for you to pick something in your life that you feel like you want to learn, you feel a skill you would like to do. If you want to lift weights, focus on that, but be consistent with it, and that will change your life.